Good evening and welcome to the Spartan Bowl in Connersville, Indiana, as the Connersville Spartans play host to the Newcastle Trojans. I am Dane Burchett, and alongside me this evening is Ben Houston.
Good evening, everyone.
Tonight is the night many have been looking forward to since late last season, Ben. There's a strong indication on December the 16th of 2005 two of the elite teams in Class 3A in the state of Indiana would be pairing off, and I think everyone got that right. Connersville and Newcastle both come into tonight's game with spotless records. Fourth-ranked Connersville Spartans are 5-0, while the Newcastle Trojans, who are second in the state, also have a 5-0 record. Ben, it doesn't get much better than this.
Oh, you're exactly right, Dane, and this place is one big play away from blowing the roof off of this Spartan Bowl. But before we preview tonight's game, let's look at what the Spartans have been doing since the last game we aired, which was Connersville versus Rushville. Connersville traveled down south to South Dearborn, where they pulled out a 57-44 victory. South Dearborn forced the Spartans to put the game on Matt Howard's shoulders by shutting down the outside shooting of the Spartans with a strong man-to-man defense. Howard responded in a huge way with 29 points, leading the Spartans to their fourth win of the season, and that win brought them up to about fifth in the 3A rankings. And then Connersville went to Jennings County, where they pulled out a 10-point victory, winning 70-60. Once again, the outside shooting for Connersville was shut down, but Howard proved once again why you can't play man-to-man defense against this squad. He scored 25 points that game, and a very surprising effort by Jamie Taylor. He had a season-high 14 points, including a 74-foot shot from the opposite free throw line to give the Spartans their final lead that they would need of the night at the end of the half.
Yeah, that was, as I say, beat the first half buzzer. It was a missed second free throw attempt, and great shot by Jamie Taylor.
Yeah, but in the last two games, Matt Howard has averaged 27 points. He's shooting a phenomenal 70%, not only from the floor, but also from the charity stripe. Dane, Matt Howard needs to bring that consistency into this game against a very tough Trojan team who has over 6 people over 6 foot tall.
They have a very tall front line, and we haven't even mentioned Zach Hahn yet, which I'll let you get into that here in just a few moments. But this game tonight, it's going to come down to execution, a whole lot of heart, and just a little bit of luck for one of these two schools. And as you're going to mention, Zach Hahn, he's a gunner for Newcastle. He's going to take his shots tonight, and he's going to put some points on the board. And Matt Howard, of course, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with on the inside for Connersville. So Ben, what is Connersville going to need to do to pick up the win tonight?
Well, once again, I think we can look at 3 specific things for Connersville. If they can execute, should come out with a victory here tonight. First of all, the Spartans are going to have to use outside shooting and just all-around shooting, really, to try to break the Trojan zone. The Trojans are notorious for a very rarely seen zone of a 1-3-1, and if you're not familiar with that, they put one defender up top, and he shadows a specific player. And then the Trojans will place 3 men right outside the free throw line, at the free throw line, and on the other side of the free throw line, and they will play zone from the three-point line all the way down to the baseline. And then they have one man down right below the basket, and his job is to go in the paint and to guard the inside man, which will obviously be Matt Howard for the Spartans.
Right.
If the Spartans want to break that, they're going to have some shooting that they haven't had in these past 2 games. Chris Bloom and B.J. Day, Ryan Henderson, they really need to step up their shooting so that they can step up the shooting to kind of force the Trojans into a man-to-man defense.
Right.
And once you get into the man-to-man defense, Matt Howard takes over.
Definitely. As you mentioned, there's not a whole lot else to say. Connersville, they're just going to have to shoot well tonight. The classic way to break the zone is to come out shooting, and it's not just the three-pointer. It's the 15 to 18-foot jumpers, the crisp passes, and you mentioned this already, but it's the best way to play the zone, and if Newcastle gets away from that, it's man-to-man, and it's only good things for Connersville.
Yeah, and the way that Matt Howard's playing, I would not want to be the Trojans if you have to go to a man defense.
It doesn't matter if they've got 6 guys over 6 foot. Matt Howard is an elite center in the state of Indiana, and he's a tough job for anybody to guard.
Yeah, just a quick note on Matt Howard. He's now 10th in the state in scoring, averaging just over 20 points a game over these last 5 games. So he's just doing a fantastic job. But his on-court vision's getting better. You can just see him developing as a player, and it's coming out to great things for the Spartans. Number 2 on our list for keys to victory for the Spartans is kind of vague. We're just going to call it defensive strategy, and because we say that because there's 2 ways that the Spartans can go. You can either, we talked about Zach Hahn earlier, the leading scorer for the Spartans. They can either try to shut down Zach Hahn and make other Trojans step up, or shut down everybody else and put the game on Zach Hahn's shoulders. So, Dan, we talked about this earlier. It's win or lose. I mean, it could be win-win,
right.
It could be lose-lose.
It definitely. You know, what do you do? And there's also possibility, you know, Connersville, they don't let Newcastle dictate what Connersville wants to do. You know, we can see if Connersville wants to come out and play their game. You know, Zach Hahn, he's well averaging 20-plus points per game. You know, one of the top scorers in the state. You know, what do you do? You know, either way can kill you. You know, but let's not, you know, not downplay the rest of the Newcastle squad. They're a very talented team, and I'm sure if, you know, if Zach Hahn's having an off night, I'm sure there are plenty of young men on this Trojan team that can definitely step up their game and put some points on the board. So it's going to have to take an all-around excellent defensive effort by the Spartans tonight.
Yeah, and someone that we can't forget on the squad for the Trojans is the sophomore Stiegel. He's been playing very well this season. He started last year as a freshman, and as we were talking about earlier, freshmen don't just start on a Newcastle Trojan team. They're very well disciplined, they're very well coached.
Right.
So you know he's the real deal if he's starting as a freshman.
Definitely.
The third thing for the Spartans they have to do tonight is they have to stay out of foul trouble, and that is especially important for Matt Howard. If Matt Howard gets into foul trouble, you are going to see the inside paint left wide open for the Trojans to dominate, and that would only spell trouble for the Spartans. But there is good news, Spartan fans. In 5 games, Matt Howard has 12 fouls. He's averaging right at 2 fouls a game, so he's not been in foul trouble except for that South Dearborn game where he had 4.
I was going to say, you know, you picked up 4, so you think the other 4 games, that's 8 fouls. As you said, two per game, and for a dominant big man to, you know, one of his basic, you know, elements of his game, if you will, is down in the paint, you know, bullying people around. That's a very head smart player to only be able to pick up 2 fouls. That's an excellent characteristic in Matt Howard. So, Ben, thank you for your 3 keys to victory tonight, and we're going to take a break here at the Spartan Bowl. We'll be back in a few minutes with tonight's starting lineups and more, and we'll actually have the tip-off as well. And we'll be back with just a few minutes with more of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's game. Back in Connersville, we're going to go over the starting lineups real fast for the visiting Newcastle Trojans. They're going to go with a junior guard, number 3, Zach Hahn, junior guard, number 22, Luke Bennett, sophomore forward, number 33, Chase Stiegel, senior forward, number 40, Ryan Freeberg, and a senior center, number 45, Matt Gallion. And Ben, Connersville's starting lineup, if you will.
Number 5, guard, Ryan Henderson. Number 10, guard, BJ Day. Number 11, point guard, Jimmy Taylor. 22, guard. Number 54, Matt Howard, center.
As we get set to tip off, Connersville, of course, in the home whites, Newcastle in the visiting green uniforms, as we see Matt Howard and number 33, Chase Stiegel, the sophomore forward for Newcastle, will start off tonight's game. Ben, it's an exciting atmosphere here, if you will, as we've seen earlier. Channel 6 from Indianapolis is here to a big marquee game in the state as Newcastle will control the tip. And the man with the plan, if you will, for Newcastle, Zach Hahn. He tries to work the ball around. He's a gunner, as we've talked about. I'm sure he's going to get plenty of his shots tonight. His first shot is off the rim, and Matt Howard's got his first rebound of the night. Gives it over to Ryan Henderson, and Connersville look to put their first points on the board.
Matt Howard right now, that's his 51st block of the season. That's good for 4th place in Class 3A so far.
Rebound, if you will. 51 blocks would be an extraordinary amount.
No, he only has 23 of those.
Matt Howard's on the floor. They look to go for the lob pass, however, it's not there. Matt Howard crowds court to BJ Day. He's back up to Ryan Henderson. He tries his hand at 3, draws back iron. And Newcastle will come up with the ball. Zach Hahn once again will set up the offense for the first time. You can expect to see a low-scoring affair for these teams tonight. I don't think Coach Klein of the Spartans wants to see Newcastle, get this score. Because, we're going to have a foul on the floor before the shot. It's going to be the first on Connersville. But I don't think, Coach Klein for Connersville wants to see a very high score tonight.
No, the last time the Trojans visited Spartan Bowl, the final score was Connersville 39, Trojans 33. So Klein likes to play them very slow-paced here in Spartan Bowl.
Baseline drive by Zach Hahn. He kicks it out to number 22, Luke Bennett. His shot is off the mark. However, Newcastle will get the rebound. The shot is back up. It draws off the iron. And we're going to have an offensive foul, and that's going to be on number 40, Ryan Freeberg. Newcastle doesn't like it, but boy, it's going to be a physical matchup tonight, and already this not so much of a quick pace, but a very strong inside battle, and points are going to be hard to come by tonight.
Well, we talked about earlier Connorsville setting the tone, or the Trojans going to set the tone for this game. I think it's important for the referees to set their own tone, to say, boys, I know it's physical, but you're not going to start pushing and shoving and cheap fouls, so I think that's a good thing by the refs so far.
Three-pointer from the corner by Newcastle is good. And that's going to give, it's going to be the first points on the board and the first lead. Newcastle's up 3-0 after the steal on the opposite end of the floor by number 22, Luke Bennett for Newcastle. B.J. Day swings it to Chris Bloom, down to the corner for Ryan Henderson. And we're going to have a foul on Newcastle. Ball on the baseline for Connorsville. It's going to be charged to the senior center, 6'5", 200-pound young man Matt Gallion. One of the, 7 6-foot players on this Newcastle Trojan roster. Matt Howard's errant pass will go out of bounds. Ball back to Newcastle. We're 2 minutes into this game, and it's 3-0. As we said, it's probably going to be a low-scoring affair.
Well, I think Connorsville really hasn't got into any set offense yet. They seem a little on edge here. I think this is the first time that you've seen the decibel level here in Spartan Bowl go off the charts this season. So,
and we've got a travel turnover on Newcastle. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, it's just you haven't seen fans in Spartan Bowl get this rowdy in a long time, so I'm sure the adrenaline's pumping. They just need to calm down a little bit and play their game.
And another thing, not so much with the atmosphere, it's been quite a few years since a Connorsville team has had this much pressure on them, this much of a marquee matchup. When, Channel 6 is here from Indianapolis. If this is the marquee game in the state, these boys on this floor have not played in such an atmosphere where Newcastle has been in some big battles before. So anxious to see how the young men from Connorsville respond. Great spin inside for Matt Howard. It won't fall. Ball finally comes down to number 22. That's Luke Bennett for Newcastle. And he swings it back up to Zach Hahn, who looks inside in the paint. Matt Howard looks at possibly get a hand on it, but number 40, Ryan Freeberg, gets the shot to fall, and it's a 5-0 lead for the visiting Trojans. Big
possession here for the Spartans. They need to get some points on the board. Sometimes the hardest points can be the first one, even in basketball. So the good idea last time going down to Matt Howard. Let's see if they can do that again and maybe get the ball in the bucket.
And break the ice, if you will. Jamie Taylor looks to go inside. He's doubled up, back to B.J. Day. They finally get inside to Ryan Henderson. He kicks it out to Chris Bloom. Boy, the shots are just not falling. They're getting good looks, but iron unkind so far for the hometown. Well, that's going to be a travel on number 22, Luke Bennett. Picked up both of his feet. Wow, we've gone 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and we still don't have, a score for Connorsville. As you said, they're going to have to do it eventually. And, I think the longer this goes, the more the pressure is going to build on the young Spartans.
Yeah, and interesting look on defense for the Spartans. We were wondering how they were going to deal with Zach Hahn. They put a very physical Jamie Taylor on him, and he seems to be doing a very decent job so far here tonight.
Matt Howard is absolutely clotheslined by the encroaching Ryan Freeberg, the senior center, 6'4", 195-pound bruiser. That's his second foul. That's third on Newcastle. That's big for Connorsville when you have the starting post player for Newcastle already in some foul trouble. We're going to have our first substitution of the game. That's the junior forward, number 42, Drew Tower, will check in for his first action of the night for the Trojans. Ball inbound to Matt Howard. He gets it up to B.J. Day. Good defense by Newcastle tonight so far. Matt Howard is triple teamed. And they're going to call him for he's going to be whistled for a travel, excuse me.
Connorsville just doesn't seem like they can get anything to fall so far. Halfway through this first quarter and to not see this Spartan score anything, let alone have 10 points by now, it's kind of different.
It's a rarity. I think what they've looked at is, when their shots haven't fallen in the past, what they've had to go into is Matt Howard on the inside, and they're just playing great defense, and Newcastle's got a 7-point lead. Coach Klein's got to get his young Cagers in the right frame of mind before Newcastle really takes this Connorsville crowd out of the game.
Well, that and we talked about playing from behind during the Rushville game. Spartans have already dug for themselves a 7-point hole here, and it could get worse here as Zach Hahn pushes the ball.
This three-pointer is buried, and it's a double-digit advantage for the Trojans. Coach Klein's going to have to take a timeout. This Newcastle team is fired up, and Connorsville's going to have to do something quick. We're going to have a 30-second timeout, so that means we're going to stay here. Ben, wow, this is not what Connersville wanted to see. There's some high-profile coaches in the arena tonight. I know these boys wanted to come out and impress. But let's worry about that. But boys, let's just play, let's get down to the X's and O's. Let's play some basketball.
Yeah, they look really strong against Jennings County last weekend, and they've had a week to prepare for this game, so I'm very surprised to see them come out and that 1-3-1 zone disrupt them as much as it has. Matt Howard been triple teamed on a couple of occasions, just not getting good looks here. Let's see. But, you've got Rodney Klein on the bench, and he's great at making adjustments. And you remember in the Union County game, the Patriots, were able to jump out to a big lead early, and Connersville erased it rather quickly. So let's see some better ball movement from the Spartans here. Maybe try to get an open shot on the outside one last time, see if Chris Bloom can hit.
See if these home irons can be a little bit more gracious to the Spartans. BJ Day will try his hand at a three. Finally, Connersville's on the board. We're not going to have a shutout tonight, Ben. It's a 10-3 advantage for the Trojans. 3 minutes and 23 seconds left to play here in this first frame.
Now the Spartans just need a couple big defensive stops, and they'll be right back in this game.
Spartans' premier defender on the out on the wing. Ryan Henderson. Matt Howard rejects him, but they're going to be whistled for a foul to Ryan Henderson. That'll be his first. That's his second.
That's his second.
Wow.
They're going to have to bring Jamie Taylor back out already.
That hurts the Spartans. Defense on guards. They have excellent defensive presence by Matt Howard down in the post, and Ryan Henderson takes care of the top scorer. Sure, we'll see how that affects Zach Hahn for Newcastle. Jamie Taylor's going to come back into the game. Recently, after the last time out, number 20, that's Mike Lake checked in for Connersville.
And this would be a great game for someone like a Mike Lake or an Andy Lakes or Chris Malone to really step up. This Trojan team is going to run our starting five around a lot. And then we're going to need some big points off the bench, I think, tonight if we're going to see a W here.
Both free throws are off the mark. Matt Howard grabs his rebound. Back to Mike Lake. He'll drive baseline. His shot is off the mark. However, he can't get it because he's the last one to touch it. And that's going to be Newcastle basketball. I think Jamie Taylor was a bit confused, thought it was possibly deflected. He needed to come over to pick up the ball. Mike Lake couldn't have done it. He needed to whistle for a travel. Not the offensive possession Connersville wanted to see there. 3 minutes left to play here in this first quarter. Great drive inside. Chase Steigel. Basically, no one from Connersville there to slow down his penetration. It's a 12-3 advantage for Newcastle. Baseline to Jamie Taylor. He'll swing it cross court to BJ Day.
Matt Howard's getting repped up down low. That's 3 fouls that have been called against Trojans on Matt Howard. Obviously, that 1-3-1 zone leaves one man core specifically for Matt Howard and 3 guys that can come in and help. And we've seen him triple team. We've seen him elbowed in the chest a couple times. So let's see how his endurance stays tonight.
14 fouls on Newcastle already. Great swing pass to Mike Lay. He'll try his hand at the 3. He draws fine iron. He gets his own rebound. Kicks it out to Chris Bloom. Looks to think about the deep 3. However, he wisely pulls back. Jamie Taylor inside to Matt Howard. He gets it. Counted. He'll go to the line for the third.
And that was a great offensive push there by the Spartans. Chris Bloom thought about the 3. Probably could have hit it, but he did the smart thing. Got it inside to Matt Howard finally. And Matt Howard does what he does best, to fake it and then dip under, get the foul, and the 2, and hopefully an extra one here.
Hopefully with this free throw, we'll cut this lead in half. As we see the shot from Matt Howard is up. And it draws off. Front iron, number 45, Matt Gallion, will pull it on the rebound. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to play. 12-5 advantage for Newcastle. Zach Hahn once again, the main cog in the Newcastle offense. He'll try his hand at about the 18-foot jumper in it. He's a gunner. Some nights he's on, some nights he's off. Looks like so far in this first quarter he's on. 2 minutes left to play. 9-point advantage for Newcastle.
Spartans at this point, you're down 9, but I think you have to be happy at this point with exchanging baskets with the Trojans for a couple possessions here.
Chris Bloom will try his hand at about an 18-footer. I'd say we're just either the front iron's not being good to Connersville, but he picks up the steal and he's got a 2-on-1. He's going to fit a great pass to Mike Lake, and he's going to get it armed under the basket. Connersville fans show their appreciation of the gritty defense by the Spartans. That's going to be whistled too. 45. That's Matt Gallion. That's his third foul. Newcastle already has 6 fouls in this first quarter. And their Newcastle starting center is going to have to take a seat on the bench.
You know, we're down 9 points. But dare I say, now that we're down 8, the Spartans are exactly where they want to be because of those 6 fouls. You have one of the premier big men for Newcastle with 3 fouls. He's out for the half.
Right.
You cannot bring him back into this game. And now you have Matt Howard, who's establishing himself well down low. He's getting some good looks. I think you're right where you want to be.
Mike Lake's good on 2 free throws. It's a 7-point advantage, minute and a half left to play. Zach Hahn crosses it across the timeline. Comes left side. Not much there. Great defense by Mike Lake on Zach Hahn. He'll kick outside. Back up to the top. We got a travel. That's the 3rd traveling violation called on Newcastle so far. Connersville basketball.
Referees are just, you know, doing a great job with this premier game. They've really, you know, you would always hate to see, they call for a stop of play to put inbound the ball in the correct spot, but you know, a lot of these premier games, sometimes refs, you know, get out of hand, but I think they're doing a great job here tonight.
Yeah. Just refs are human too. They get caught up in emotion and the atmosphere just like the players do.
Yeah, but it's great to see, one, that we have 3 referees here to watch the entire court, and 2, that we have some very good referees here tonight.
Chris Bloom works left side. Mike Lake down inside to Matt Howard. Kicks it cross court to BJ Day. He pump fakes. His shot's up. Still not good. We're going to have a foul on Connersville. That looks to be charged to Mike Lake. That's going to be Connersville's 3rd of the first half.
Still not a bad look for the Spartans there, but I don't know if someone shrunk the iron on this side of the court or what, but the shots are just not falling for the Spartans at this point.
It looks to be, the shots are pure. They're not rushing anything, so it's only a matter of time before this, a good shooting Spartan team. The shots will fall eventually on this home floor. Great penetration. I'd say that's the 2nd time that Chase Steigel's been able to drive, right through the middle of the paint on that left side. And, he's got about 4 big points just off those drives alone. It's a 16-7 advantage. There's a steal by Newcastle. They look to run, however, wisely they'll pull out. Zach Hahn spins back inside. Great feed off inside. And he's going to be troubled. That's number 4, guys. You can't walk with the ball.
And, just once again, referees eyeballing that one. That stutter step might work in the NBA, but not here in high school basketball where fundamentals actually matter.
21 seconds left to play. Connersville will probably be playing for the last shot. I can't see why they look to rush their offense now. 15 seconds, 16-7 advantage for Newcastle. And we're going to have a push. That looks like that's going to be on Matt Howard. They're going to call him for a moving screen, I believe. That's Matt's, that's only his first. 10 seconds left. Connersville needs to have a big defensive stop here. Not let Newcastle add any more to this already sizable lead. Zach Hahn with the ball, works left side. He's with double team. Shots to the top for Chase Steigel. He'll try his hand at 3. No good. BJ Day will corral the rebound. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. We're going to take a break here in Connersville. We'll be back in a few minutes with more Channel 3's coverage of tonight. Back in Connersville as we get ready to start the second quarter of action. 16-7 lead for the visiting Newcastle Trojans. Connersville with the basketball. And as we get started, some key things to look at so far. Newcastle already with 16 fouls. One more and Connersville is going to be in the 1-and-1 bonus. Great look inside. Errant shot by number 40. That's Andy Lakes. Coach Klein wants a foul, no good. Zach Hahn comes back down, tries his hand at a 2. Ryan Henderson will corral the rebound. Connersville looks to run. BJ Day wisely slows it up. Works the ball right side, and once again, look inside to Andy Lake. And he's turned the ball over twice. An errant shot, however, he scraps on the floor. Connersville, we're going to have a timeout on the floor as Newcastle finally grabs hold of the basketball. We'll see if that's a 4 or a 30. 30-second timeout, so we're going to stay here. So we've seen 38 seconds of action so far, and so far, most of the action has gone in through Andy Lakes, I think, to Coach Klein, who put in the junior forward to try to,
They're trying to give some help to Matt
There you go.
Howard.
Help. Wow, what a hard word to forget. Help. Some front court help to Matt Howard. So he's not the only big man down in there. And but as with Ryan Henderson with 2 fouls, he can also help inside and outside. And so far, as we see, Chris Malone has checked in to see if he can help.
If that's a problem with that 1-3-1 zone, you can have two men on Matt Howard and then very easily put 2 right on Andy Lakes. It's that paradigm that we talked about earlier. If Connersville is going to be able to figure that out, and I still think you have to do it with the shooting,
which has not been good for Connersville so far. Chase Steigel drives baseline. Great up and under shot. He goes right underneath the extended arms of Matt Howard. And it's an 11-point advantage for Newcastle. Wild pass. Bit of a dangerous pass from Chris Malone as it goes all the way cross court. Shot no good. He'll get the rebound. He'll put it back up and in. Connersville now with 9 points. Minute 10 seconds into the second quarter.
That's a good look there by Chris Malone. Let's see. I would really love to see Chris Malone step up tonight. This would be just a great time for him to give some weak side help to Matt Howard.
We talked at the beginning of the year that we thought we were going to see a lot of things out of Chris Malone as a good post presence, a compliment, if you will, to Matt Howard. And not that he's had a bad season. Ryan Henderson just is not paying attention and just throws the ball right to number 22, Luke Bennett from Newcastle. However, they'll turn the ball over. Coach Klein needs to get his kids under control. They're just not paying attention.
Coach Klein is not happy at all. You can just see the look of sheer almost
disgust,
anger. Disgust, not, I wouldn't say anger, but disgust. That's a good look there by the Trojans there to try to pick the pocket of the Spartans there. 11-point lead. The Spartans are going to have to start doing something about that.
BJ Day looks to get some kind of offense going. He has to move. He'll try his hand at a jumper. It's once again shot off the mark. Number 22, Luke Bennett, will corral it, and he'll come across the timeline. Nothing on the right side as the premier scorers for Newcastle finally gets it to Zach Hahn. There's going to be a foul whistle to number 20. That's going to be Mike Lakes. It's his second foul, team's 5th. Jamie Taylor is going to check back into the game once again. Chris Malone, an early exit. A couple minutes of action.
I don't know what it is tonight, but I'm not seeing the same Spartans that I've seen all season. They just seem, they almost look tired, like just sloppy play. As Matt Howard corrals his second or third rebound of the evening. We just need some crispness on our shots.
There you go. BJ Day says, Mr. Houston, I'll take your call and we'll do it. 2012 advantage for Newcastle, 5.5 left to play.
It's a good thing we did give them those earbuds so they could listen in to the commentating here tonight.
That'd be nice. Zach Hahn works it back over to Chase Steigel. He'll swing it. The shot rolls in and out. Matt Howard with the rebound. Connersville looks to run. Chris Bloom, right side. Thinks about the jumper. Gets it back out to Matt Howard. Matt Howard's having a heck of a time down low. He's getting bruised and battered and pushed around by the 3 Newcastle defenders. That zone's working.
But once again, if we can get the outside shooting going, they're going to have to do something else about that.
Connersville crowd starting to show some enthusiasm for their hometown Spartans. BJ Day, he'll try again at a 3, and it's going to draw off the iron. It's going to be out of bounds. Newcastle basketball. 4 minutes and 34 seconds left to play. Still an 8-point lead for the Trojans.
Good idea there by the Spartans. A good ball movement. Unfortunately, just not able. Only got one decent shot there from BJ Day. Unfortunately, it drew front iron. Not able to go in. But still, I think you're starting to see some improvements on offense for the Spartans.
Zach Hahn works it to Chase Steigel. He thinks about a 3. Drives baseline. Number 5. 5th traveling violation for the Trojans so far. And Coach Steve Bennett might have something to work on in practice next week.
Well, and with those 5 turnovers, the Trojans are leaving the door wide open for the Spartans. It's time for them to, now I'm drawing a blank on the word I want to
step up their play.
Step up their play, convert on those turnovers to get some points.
Chris Bloom for 3. Once again, off the iron. We're going to have a push on Connersville. It's going to be their 6th team foul. Bit of confusion between the officials. It's going to be 20. He's got 3 fouls so far. That means Ryan Henderson's going to check back into the lineup for Connersville.
That's the one thing that I just wish Mike Lake could do a better job at, and that's foul control. I mean, obviously sometimes you can't help it, but he's consistently been picking up 3 fouls in the first half off the bench. And he could be such an asset to the Spartans in times like these, and we really need him out on the floor right now. But now we've got Ryan Henderson, a starter with 2 fouls, in danger of getting 3 now.
Connersville, they're going to have some help. Matt Howard finally gets it. He looks up to Ryan Henderson. Wisely pulls it out, gets it back to B.J. Day, to Matt Howard. They'll swing it cross court to Chris Bloom. He'll drive baseline. His shot off the mark. Newcastle with the basketball. Great hands by Jamie Taylor. He'll put a shot up. Nothing there. Chris Bloom. He'll try again. Finally, the ball drops for Connersville. 20-14. That's their closest lead closest it's been since it was a 7-0 advantage for Newcastle.
Yeah, and the Spartans are doing what they do well in the second quarter. And it's chip away at leads that teams are able to get early.
And once again, Zach Hahn right there to quiet the Connersville crowd. Back up to a 8-point lead. B.J. Day mad out on the timeline, and it's stripped from behind by number 22, Luke Bennett. Matt Howard blocks it. Connersville is going to have to do a better job of getting to the basketball and boxing out. Newcastle's just doing a good job of cleaning the boards, and they're getting a lot of easy second chance points, and that's a 10-point advantage for the Trojans. Chris Bloom, great penetration. They're going to call him for a travel. Yeah, he looked left side to Ryan Henderson, but was called for the walk.
Thought about that pass just a split second too long, and he dropped that second foot up before he put the ball on the floor, and they'll call that a travel every time.
Newcastle basketball, 2 minutes and 48 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Zach Hahn tries his hand at a deep 3, and he buries it. Zach Hahn is having an excellent game tonight. 13-point advantage for Newcastle. B.J. Day looks to set up the offense once again for Connersville. Matt Howard is absolutely getting mauled in the paint tonight. Back up to Chris Bloom, an open shot. Still doesn't fall. Not too many times have we seen Chris Bloom miss a wide open 3. Chase Steigel kicks it out to number 42 for Newcastle. It won't fall. He'll get his own rebound. Possible travel call. Nothing there. Newcastle's having their way. Everything's going their way so far. They'll try their hand at another 3. It won't fall. Matt Howard finally gets the basketball.
And still there, he gets the rebound. He's still getting pushed on this side too. Trojans really bringing it to Matt Howard tonight.
Minute and 48 seconds left to play. Ryan Henderson tries his hand at a third 3-pointer. It won't fall. Matt Howard is absolutely getting killed tonight. Newcastle looks to run. He'll come back on defense. There's going to be a foul. It's going to be on B.J. Day, it looks like. He's going to be shooting 2 shots, is Zach Hahn.
Connersville crowd not happy with the officiating staff right now, but
what can you do?
You can't do anything. I mean, they're the officials. So we can hear the guy behind us not too happy with the way the calls are going, but yeah. Rodney Klein having a discussion with the referee. He's not too happy either, but let's focus on scoring some points. The refs are not the reason that we're down 13 points right now.
Right.
It's poor execution on offense.
Zach Hahn's first attempt at the free throw line falls. 28-14 advantage. About 2 minutes ago, Connersville had chipped it their way back down to a 6-point lead. It is now ballooned back to 14. Newcastle has doubled up Connersville's offensive output so far. Not a good sign so far for Connersville. Zach Hahn will toe the line for his second attempt.
I can't wait till the Spartans get in the second half, can have this iron that the Trojans have been having all night. Maybe we'll see the reverse in the second half.
Connersville with a minute and a half left to play in the second quarter needs to put up some points just for some comfort going into the half.
Yeah, I mean, these 14 points saved when they dropped the lead to 6 have not really been an offensive streak. It's been, a point, shaky couple points here, shaky couple points there. We still haven't seen a real offense here from the Spartans, and that's troubling if you're a Spartan fan.
Andy Lakes has whistled for the travel. Coach Klein's really giving the referees, the officials an earful. Coach, it's not going to help. 15-point disadvantage for Connersville. Minute 20 left to play. Newcastle, they're looking at blow this game wide open. And if Connersville doesn't get something started soon, they could very well do that. Ball to number 22, Luke Bennett, gets it back to Zach Hahn. Newcastle looks to run some clock here as the clock winds down, just at a minute left to play in the second quarter. A little bit of four corners. We have harkens back to the early 50s in the movie Hoosier with Hickory. We'll run some clock off, down to 45.
Spartan here, they have to do something. They got to get some more points on the board. 14 going into half is just not good so far.
That's a good quarter for Connersville.
Yeah.
The game's passed. 30 seconds left to play. Newcastle, they look to be content in settling for the last shot. I think part of Coach Klein's probably his displeasure with the refs. I think it's got to be frustration. He's not happy with the way his boys. And Newcastle's held the ball for the last minute. There's 5 seconds left to play. Zach Cohn looks to go now. He'll drive inside, kicks it out. Three-pointer at the buzzer. Way off the mark, and that's going to do it. Wow. 29-14 advantage for Newcastle. Not what this sellout crowd wanted to see in Connersville. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the first half wrap-up of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's game. Back in Connersville as we get ready to start the second half. Quick rundown of the first half stats. B.J. Day led the way with 6. Then we had Matt Howard, Chris Bloom, Chris Malone, and Mike Lake with 2 points apiece, and that gives you 14 for Connersville. 15-point lead for Newcastle, and not a whole lot else to say. Connersville's going to have to put some points on the board and stop this Newcastle attack, prevent Chase Steigel and Zach Hunt from getting to the basket, and hopefully Connersville can pull this one back out. Zach Hunt cuts inside. Number 45, Matt Gallion. Newcastle goes back to work. It's 31-14 in favor of Newcastle. Coach Klein, whatever he said, for Connersville to do on defense didn't work so far, but it's only first possession. Connersville works at left side. Matt Howard back to B.J. Day. Chris Bloom thinks about it. Matt Howard from the corner, no good. Jamie Taylor with a big rebound. His shot up and in. Good job by Jamie Taylor, as we talked about last week versus Jennings County. Basically had a huge game, and Connersville would be well pressed to see Jamie Taylor with a big game once again.
One of the things that Newcastle has been doing very well here so far is getting Matt Howard off his feet. You don't see that a lot from different teams, but if you can get him off his feet, you can get around him and you can draw fouls. You can do a lot of things. Get a clear look at the basket. It's not a great shot there by Chris Bloom. Not a decent look. So Trojans will bring the ball back up court.
15-point disadvantage. Zach Hunt cut off on the baseline from the defense by Jamie Taylor. Zach Hunt, great move, drives baseline, and he's going to pick up a foul against Matt Howard. That's going to be Matt's second.
For Matt Howard, his second, team's first. Zach Hunt shoots 2.
We're noticing coming onto the court here next to the Spartan crowd, a former Spartan there, Brandon Kramus, was in a very bad car accident a year ago. Didn't think he was going to make it, was in a coma for a long period of time, and it's just great to see him up and walking and being able to somewhat function. There was a few months there where his family they were in limbo. So maybe that would be a good thing to just pick up the Spartans here and maybe give them something to go on.
They're going to need some kind of spirit out here as Zach Hahn connects on both free throws, 33-16 advantage. Ball stripped away, Newcastle basketball. They look to run. Shot is up, almost reflected. Newcastle doing a great job of getting to the basket. B.J. Day breaking back across the timeline. 19-point lead for Newcastle. Chris Bloom swings it over to B.J. Day. He'll work the left side. Ryan Henderson looks inside to Matt Howard. And his pass is stolen. Newcastle will run. Zach Hahn brings it up across the floor. Shot no good. Foul on the floor. That's going to be against, I believe, Chris Bloom. If so, that will be his first.
Well, you know, Trojans just want this game more than the Spartans so far. Spartans need to wake up. I don't know what happens when they come into this game, but they need something.
We're going to take a full timeout, which means we'll take a timeout as well. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's matchup. Back in Connersville, shade under 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Once again, still a 19-point advantage for Newcastle as Ryan Freeberg will check the ball in underneath Newcastle's basket. As we talked about during that break, Connersville can't trade baskets with Newcastle anymore. They're going to have to come up with some baskets of their own and some big defensive stops if they hope to get back into this game really quick. Chase Steigler kicks it outside to Zach Hahn. He'll work left side. Swings it back over to Luke Bennett. Up top to Zach Hahn. Great ball fake. He'll work right side. Tries to come baseline. And that shot is pure. The baseline jumper by Zach Hahn. 37-16 advantage for Newcastle, and everything is going right so far for Newcastle. Back up top to B.J. Day. Swings over to Ryan Henderson into the corner for Jamie Taylor. Good look. Matt Howard, single coverage down low. He'll spin inside. No good. Try to flip his own rebound back in. It won't fall. Newcastle looks to run. Zach Hahn, right side. He'll try his hand at a two. Foot was on the line. 39-16, 23 points is the deficit for Connersville. 5 and change to play.
Dribble the ball, guys!
Shot off the mark by Chris Bloom. Once again, Newcastle looks to run. Behind the back pass goes to the Newcastle cheering section. Number 20, Mike Lake will check back in for Connersville. Mr. Lake with his 3 personal fouls he picked up in the first half. Shade under 5 minutes left to play here in the third frame. Not much going right so far for Connersville.
Somebody on this Spartan squad is going to have to put this team on their shoulders and start driving them forward, because so far they've had nothing all game.
Chris Bloom's not having a good shooting night. Matt Howard's getting abused.
And finally they're going to call a foul down low off the ball on, looks like number 45. That's going to be about his 4th.
That's his 4th. We're going to have a substitution for Newcastle. Drew Tower, a junior forward. We'll give Matt Gallion, the starting center, spot on the bench.
You know, we said nothing was going the Spartans' way so far, but, you know, foul trouble is going their way so far with a couple Trojans in very bad foul trouble.
B.J. Day looks at it, kicks it over to Mike Lake. His shot rolls around, it won't fall. Newcastle with a rebound, they'll look to run. Zach Hahn works the left side, comes in the middle. His pass is deflected by Connersville. But they're going to give it to Connersville. They didn't have the viewpoint we did. It was a mistake by the officials, however. They're human. And Connersville with the basketball.
Yeah, and at this point, we'll take whatever we can get.
4.5 left to play
in the third quarter.
In the third quarter, excuse me. Implied, sir, implied. B.J. Day looks to go inside to Matt Howard. And finally, I hate to be critical of the referees, but finally, Matt Howard getting some love down in the paint. Okay, big fella. It's been rough so far. Newcastle's second foul of this second half. 3 fouls on number 40, Ryan Freeberg. One good sign for Connersville. A lot of Newcastle's starting post players are starting to get into foul trouble. The ball is stolen by Newcastle. Mike Light comes back, and finally he'll get whistled for the foul after he's just trying to get the ball back.
And that's 4 on him, I believe.
20, Mike Lake is 4, team server.
And we might see Mike Lake play out the rest of his minutes until he picks up his 5th to give Jamie Taylor a bit of a breather. Some possibilities. We might kind of difficult to say if we'll see Danny Fishesher come off the bench, the young freshman. We'll probably see Andy Lakes, maybe some Chris Reepsummer halfway through this third quarter. Connersville getting into foul trouble in their key support players.
Well, we need to see some fresh legs out there. We need something new because things are not working. So
great up and under move by Chase Steigel. Matt Howard gets the rebound. Gets it up. Chris Bloomhill tries to end a three. Finally! Mr. Bloom, we're going to need you if we're going to pull out this victory tonight. 20-point advantage. We're going to need a lot more of those and quickly.
Yeah, the last two games, Matt Howard put the team on his shoulder. It's time for Chris Bloom to step up and do the same this game.
Zach Hahn works the left side, gets around the pick. Ball back in the left wing, works inside, comes up against Matt Howard. His shot. Zach Hahn is a wizard tonight. He's throwing it up, and it's falling for Newcastle. There's not a whole lot Spartan defense can do about it right now. Matt Howard spins right side. Great look, and it falls off the glass.
And we're finally starting to see some offense here from the Spartans.
With the Connersville offense. 20-point advantage. We'd like to see this at shave about 6 to 8 points off this before we head into the fourth quarter. If Connersville wants any shot at getting back into this game, there's a three-pointer by Newcastle, and it hits nothing but the bottom of the net. That's a dagger for Connersville as they finally started to see some life from Connersville's offense. We're going to have to trade another basket. That's all we can do right now. Chris Bloomhill thinks about trying another three. Gets inside to Matt Howard. He's quadruple teamed. Ball on the floor, no foul. Rugby scrimmage, if you will. Zach Hahn brings it across the timeline. Good look over to the right side. Newcastle is in control here in Connersville tonight. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to play. 25-point advantage. Wow. Not what we expected from this Connersville Spartan team. Matt Howard goes inside. His shot falls. Number 40 for Newcastle, Ryan Freeberg, wanted a foul. John, you've got to understand, they're going to let these boys play tonight if you've been paying attention to how this game's gone so far. Zach Hahn, great move behind the back, kicks it out to Ryan Freeberg. He'll corral it, gets it up top to Chase Steigel. He'll work left side, bringing it against Matt Howard. It won't fall. Newcastle gets the rebound, though. My own personal message to Connersville, guys, Matt Howard is going to have some help down low. He can't do it all by himself. He is a big boy, but he will need some help.
Well, and here comes some help for him. 22, Jimmy Taylor, about ready to enter the game. So hopefully, it'll be some weak side help for him.
Matt Howard picks up his third personal foul. Minute and a half left to play in the third quarter, 23-point advantage. The first free throw attempt is off the mark for Drew Tower. You'll see Andy Lakes and Jamie Taylor check into the game. And on the bench will be Mike Lake and BJ Day.
Now this is one of these times where if you're Coach Klein, you have to be wishing you were in position to get Matt Howard off the floor and give him a breather. But unfortunately, when you're down by this margin, a 24-point margin now, you got to keep him out there. And I think you're seeing a fatigued Matt Howard. He's been picking himself off the floor all night.
Wild pass corralled by Ryan Henderson. Jamie Taylor back over to the left side. Chris Bloom back up top to Ryan Henderson. He'll try his fourth attempt at a three. It still won't fall. Great rebound and put back by Andy Lakes.
You know, if we would have seen this 2 quarters ago, Connersville would be in great shape right now.
Definitely. 22-point advantage, minute left to play. Luke Bennett works left side. He'll kick it out to Ryan Stevens. Three-pointer from the top from Chase Steigel off the mark. Matt Howard now with his 8th rebound of the game. Good post work by the young Mr. Howard. Jamie Taylor kicks it back out to Ryan Henderson. We're going to have a foul on the floor. Charged to Newcastle. 42, Drew Tower. That's the first foul for Drew Tower, That's Newcastle's third in the second half. 40 seconds left to play. Chris Bloom once again for three. And it buries. Guys, 19-point advantage. Let's keep it going.
Stranger things have happened.
Game's not over yet. If we will recall, some Indiana basketball lore, Reggie Miller's 8 points in 18 seconds versus the New York Knicks, mid-90s. A great moment. We could use some more heroics like that tonight if we want to see Connersville come back and win this game. Oh, let's get that shot out of here. Finally picks up a block. Connersville almost throws it away. Ryan Henderson gets it to Matt Howard. Chris Bloom, give him another one, and he's got it. The Connersville crowd's back in it at the end of the third quarter. 16-point advantage, and the Connersville crowd shows their appreciation. We're going to take a break and be back with more of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's game. Back in Spartan Bowl, start of the fourth quarter. Guys, it's now or never. 8 minutes left to play, down by 16. Connersville with the basketball, possession arrow in their favor starting this fourth quarter. We go back to Newcastle. Jamie Taylor with his hands on the ball. A different look for the Connersville offense. Gets it Ryan Henderson. Chris Bloom with the top. Oh.
You know he wants to shoot that ball.
He's starting to feel that touch. And we're going to have a foul. A generous whistle in the second half by the officials. Foul's going to be on number 33, Shea Steigel. If we could get him out of the game, that would be nice.
It's only a second.
Only a second. As your theme, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. You know, we haven't really talked about the end of that third quarter. Great. Finally, some offense coming out of the Spartans. Chris Bloom with 2 big shots. Let's hope they can keep this momentum going here in the fourth quarter.
Ball inbounded to Matt Howard. Gets it back to Chris Bloom. Give him a 4 3-pointer. And it's finally off the mark. He had hit 3 straight. I think this Connersville crowd would have erupted. That would have taken it down. However, it's still a 16-point advantage. 7.5 left to play in the final frame. Ryan Henderson cannot leave Zach Hahn wide alone. Good baseline drive by Chase Steigel. Up and under. Rolls around and falls. We're going to have to close that off if we want to find a way to get back in this. 18-point disadvantage. Chris Bloom looks inside. Andy Lake, nothing there. Andy Lakes, excuse me. Matt Howard spins right side. Gets over to Andy Lakes. Good look. Good pass by the big man to his post partner, if you will. 16-point advantage, 7 left to go.
Connersville needs to start running some pressure defense. We don't have time to mess around here. We need to put pressure on the ball and create some turnovers.
Ball right side to Zach Hahn. Looks back up top to Chase Steigel with a potent 1-2 combination for the Trojans. Good baseline drive. His shot won't fall. And it's going to be out of bounds off Connersville, Newcastle basketball.
Hey guys, where's that push off? Are you on?
Connersville is going to have to do something. Do something quick here with that lead still at 16.
Zach Hahn. He's having his way with the Connersville defense, and Matt Howard gets his hands on the ball. They'll wisely slow it down. Chris Bloom gets it back to him. Back to Chris Bloom. Will spin back inside. His jumper, no good. Matt Howard had his hands on the ball, can't bring it in. Zach Hahn looks to run for Newcastle. Jumper is good. It's a 3. That's going to be Luke Bennett. Back to 19, and
Connersville's got to push it here.
This clock is starting to be, not starting, it's been an enemy for Connersville for some time now. And great look by Matt Howard. High shot off glass. It falls. We're going to have a timeout charged to Connersville. That's going to be a full. That means we'll take a break. We'll be back in just a few moments with more of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's game. 5 minutes and 53 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. And it's a 17-point lead for Newcastle. Great look by Ryan Henderson. He'll race up court. Oh! He was met. Great defensive recovery by number 33, Chase Steigel. That's a promising young sophomore to watch for Newcastle.
Yeah, he flew right under the radar here in the Spartan Bowl. Great help to Zach Hahn. Zach Hahn obviously is going to be, you're going to do something differently defensively for someone like Zach Hahn, but Steigel, however you want to say it, I don't know the exact pronunciation there, but came in and he's been really a thorn in the Spartan side so far here tonight.
Jamie Taylor takes a seat on the bench. BJ Day will check back into the lineup. Ryan Henderson misses his first 2 free throws, his second attempt. Will also be off the mark. Finally, Andy Lakes corrals the rebound, puts it back in. We've got a, let me do my mathematics.
15.
There we go, 15. I completely went blank, excuse me. 15-point advantage. Zach Connell works right side. Kicks over to Chase Stagel. He'll come inside. Nothing there. Good defense by Ryan Henderson. We're going to have a foul charged to Ryan. That's his third foul. Connersville's fourth. Mike Lake's going to check back into the game. Mike with 4 fouls. Ryan will take a quick breather on the bench. I'd imagine we'll see him back about the 3.5, 4-minute mark for the rest of the game.
Ryan's he's a very aggressive player and he's a very passionate player, and I think sometimes when he loses his cool, Rodney Klein does the right thing and just brings him off and just lets him get a breather.
Good hands by Andy Lakes there. .504 to play. Still 15-point disadvantage for Connersville.
And finally a break for the Spartans. Zach Hahn has to come off the playing court because he's got blood. Boy, would it be great if they couldn't stop the bleeding there and he had to sit out the rest of the game.
So the officials call a timeout under the assumption that if a player is bloodied, they have to leave the game and be substituted because they're being attended to by a physician. However, the officials are letting the game stop while Zach Hahn is attended to, and Coach Klein is questioning referee's judgment. Bit of a questionable call. They know the rule book. They're officials. Officials. That's a funny term. Once again, it's still a bit of a holdup here on gameplay. I'm not sure what the holdup is now.
Well, I think Rodney Klein wants him to have to come out of the game for at least the next dead ball.
Finally, we get back to some game action. Still 15-point disadvantage for Connersville. 5 and change left to play here in this final frame. Zach Hahn, tough shot, and it falls. He's got 4 hands in his face, and it still finds the bottom of the basket. 17-point lead. BJ Day works left side to Mike Lake. BJ looks inside to Matt Howard. Dangerous pass. He'll spin back left side. Great pass to Andy Lakes. The hoop and the arm. Step to the line for a freebie.
Okay, with 15-point disadvantage here, 4:40. Spartans are definitely on the ropes. Time becoming a big disadvantage for them.
Could we get 5 3-pointers with no points by Newcastle? It could happen.
It could always happen. But, Spartans on the ropes. They're not out of this game yet. We talked all game versus, I believe it was Rushville, their ability to hit the outside shot and erase a 12-point deficit. I think it's no different here for the Spartans. Until this clock gets under 3 minutes,
Get him out there! Get him
and
out
once again,
there!
they're having problems with the blood on Zach Hahn.
Get him out there! Get him out there!
How about Newcastle?
Finally, Zach Hahn, I think, is going to have to be attended to on the bench again. That's going to be a 30-second timeout. Not quite sure what happened there.
Some fans behind us not happy with the calls so far here. I don't know. I know what the rules say in college and NBA, but obviously there are some different rules in high school. But in college and in NBA, when a player has blood anywhere on them, they have to come out of the game. They have to be substituted for, and they can come on the next dead ball if they're not bleeding. And if that's
high school rules differ. Ben, let's talk about something positive for a second as we see Andy Lake step to the line for 2 free throws. Look at the turnaround he's had. He came to the game, had 2 quick turnovers, and got the quick gate from Coach Klein to take a seat on the bench, replaced by Chris Malone. And he's turned around. He's got 8 points now. Good job by the junior post player to really turn around his game. big time for Connersville.
Yeah, and he's been a big help to Matt Howard here tonight. Unfortunately, that 1-3-1 zone has been collapsing. Multiple. They've been able to double Andy Lakes and Matt Howard at the same time. It's not been faring well for the Spartans here.
We've got a Coach Bennett for Newcastle doesn't like the call, but he's got a 15-point advantage. Get back in your coach's box, Coach.
It's not over yet.
That's true. But with enough breaks we've had, the kid should be fresh. the 10-minute pause to care for Mr. Hahn. Chris Bloom. Back up top, BJ Day works left side. His jumper is good.
We're finally
we got a 13-point advantage. Guys, we got 4 minutes left to play. A couple big shots, and we're getting back in it slowly but surely. We need to pick up this pace. Finally come up with some big stops.
I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple minutes to see the Trojans go back to that four corner, try to take some minutes off of this clock.
Zach Hahn faced with white-shirted defenders all over the court. As you said, Newcastle looks content.
He got the 5-second call.
Finally, we got a 5-second call. He's going to have to get rid of the ball. Coach Bennett for Newcastle likes to remind him of that. 3:40 left to play, 13-point advantage. Fellas, the time's now. You want to keep that undefeated streak and recognition. The state's watching tonight. And see what we can do with the boys. 3.5 left. Ben, as you like to say, use it.
Use it.
Use it, boys. Use it for your advantage. Matt Howard, great look. Top the key to BJ Day. It'll be big. Rolls around, no good. Ball finally comes down. Andy Lakes gets that, buries it. He'll step to the line. We'll take a three the old-fashioned way.
That is getting the Spartan crowd in it.
Andy Lakes.
This is becoming...
What a boy.
We were hoping for a close game, and I think we're about to get it, Dan. This will bring the lead back down to 10.
The Connersville crowd is back in it as they're starting to come to their feet.
That's number 5 on number 45. He takes a seat for the rest of the game.
Come on, boys.
We talked about foul trouble early and hoping it was going to help out. Maybe with this 3.5 minutes left, that's going to be enough that we can get back in this thing. Remember, you only have to tie to get to overtime.
Andy Lakes. Wow, what a game.
We saw Jamie Taylor last game really step up for the Spartans here. And now we're seeing Andy Lake. And, it's
Andy Lakes.
Lakes, I'm sorry.
I have the same problem.
And he can...
Wow, 10-point game.
And finally, we're seeing some pressure defense here by the Spartans. They're back in this thing, and they know it.
Connersville is back in it. It's official.
And, they just look like a different team out there now. You see them playing like they have the past 5 games. It's great to see.
Turnover by Connersville with the basketball.
They can cut this lead to 7 right here. That's phenomenal.
And there's a foul on number 22. That's Luke Bennett. That is as my friend Dickie B might say, oh, they did it to you. But they're not going to call it.
I told you not to say that.
30 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Chris Bloom, the sharpshooter, steps to the line. We could possibly see an 8-point lead for Newcastle. One good thing for Connersville, they have not given up in this game.
Exactly.
That's a great thing to take for. Even if Connersville cannot bring it all the way back, they can look back and say, guys, we didn't give up. We didn't roll over. They kept their head held high, and look at this. Connersville's back in this game. 8-point lead. How about that, Ben?
That's amazing.
Honestly, I'm shocked.
An hour ago, I would have said you're joking to say that this lead would be down to 8 with 3 minutes left the way the Newcastle is playing.
Crowd finally with some spirit. There's going to be a foul.
They're either going to get Henderson or Howard on that one. They're giving it to Henderson.
Henderson, that's going to be his 4th.
Oh, that's big.
That is big. I would imagine we'll see Ryan Henderson in the game for the rest of the way.
Yeah, you got to leave him on there. He, like we said earlier, he's such a passionate player. I mean, I think the Spartans need him out there emotionally right now.
First free throw is good. 2 minutes and 55 seconds left to play. Still a 9-point advantage. There's some thunder in this gym right now, Ben. 10-point advantage back again for Newcastle.
Yeah,
the crowd is back in it.
Yeah, but Zach Hahn is pure on both of his shots from the charity stripe, so Connersville is going to have to chip away once again.
Connersville, what they can't do, not let the emotions get the best of them. No, do not rush any shots. Ryan Henderson shot at a 3 off the mark. And Newcastle will get the rebound. 2.5 left to play. Possibly not the shot that Connersville wanted. Zach Hahn with the ball. And that's going to be it for Ryan Henderson. He's going to pick up his 5th foul, and he's going to take a seat on the bench. Mike Lake will step back in. As we saw a few games back, I'm not sure if it was Union County or Rushville, but Mike Lake had a big game. It was about 12 to 14 points. Hit some big 3-pointers. And we could see that again. Ryan Henderson's shot was not there for him tonight. So this could be a big substitution. Hopefully he can find his shot and find his shot quickly.
Yeah, that'd be a big help for the Spartans here.
Free throw is good. Back to 11. Second free throw. He's up. Rolls around, no good. Andy Lakes with a rebound. Mike Lake advances across the timeline. Connersville's going to have to go quickly, but don't rush it. Draw a fine line between the two. BJ Day comes right side. Back to left. He'll try his hand at a 3. Got it! They're not done yet. 2 minutes left to play. 8-point game. It's been a long time since we've seen, a lead for a long time down in the single digits back when, the early moments of the first quarter. And we're going to see a moving string. Connersville basketball. Newcastle, we're not done yet.
I was about ready to say, let's remember Reggie Miller, 8 and 18. Let's just chip it away now.
We got 1 minute and 56, boys. Let's keep it up. Great to see Connersville respond with some emotion.
This is a completely different team than we saw in the first half. They're putting out phenomenal numbers. That's 35 points here in this.
35 points in the last 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, it's just amazing to see that from these boys.
Turnaround.
Responding very well here tonight. We have a stoppage of play here by the referees. They're talking something over.
Some confusion somewhere. I believe they were deliberating if it was the 9th team foul, but since it was offensive, no shot?
Because it was an offensive foul, there is no shot in the bonus.
Okay.
Good call there
by Andy Lakes. And there's going to be a foul. That's going to be on number 42, Drew Tower. That's 10 team fouls. Another bonus for Connersville. Double bonus rest of the way is shooting 2 shots for every foul.
It's always great when you can score points when the clock's not running.
Minute and 45 left to play. Connersville crowd's back in this game. Great sight to see here in the Spartan Bowl.
Yeah, and I've always found it odd when someone says what I just said, able to score when the clock stopped. But what you don't realize is the clock, once you score the basket, the clock doesn't stop on a normal shot. In the free throw, they have to get it back in bounds before the clock starts back up. So that's why the fouls can be so important here for the Spartans.
The second attempt is good. 7-point lead for Newcastle. Pressure defense by Connersville. Zach Hahn once again with the ball. Kick it back out to Zach. From right side, kicks it over to Chase Steigel. Chase back to Luke Bennett. We're going to have to see a foul soon. We finally got a foul. That's going to be charged to Mike Lake, and that's 5 on him. That means we'll probably see Jamie Taylor check back into the game. 1:24 left to play.
But we talked about it earlier, Dane. You had to stay out of foul trouble to try to get in this game, and unfortunately, the battle of attrition here is being lost by the Spartans so far. Newcastle fans are liking it here that another Spartan is down for the game. But You still have BJ Day. You still have Chris Bloom.
You have the three-headed monster, Matt, Chris, and BJ, and that's where a lot of our our points come from. Statistically, the three highest scorers on the team.
That's big. Zach Hahn missed the first,
and he does not miss very many free throws. BJ Day gets it inside to Matt Howard. He'll come baseline. His shot is up. He'll get it, and he'll get the foul. He'll step to the line. Possibly a 4-point game. Wow. Excuse me for yelling, Ben, but I'm a little excited.
I almost thought that the way the ref called that foul, he brought his hand up. It looked like an X almost, and that would have been big, but he was just saying that he grabbed him on the wrist up high.
Big free throw.
We'll take what we get. It's pure.
And it's good. Oh, wow.
We've got ourselves a basketball
It's a brand new game here. And they need a TO. I won't say it, but they need a TO. We're going to take a timeout, too. We need a breather ourselves. Be back in just a second with more of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's game. Back in the Spartan Bowl, the Spartan fans are on their feet. Minute and 9 seconds left to play. That 25-point advantage for Newcastle, then 4. What a game, folks. We've got a foul quickly. It's going to be number 22, Luke Bennett. Junior guard will step to the line. He'll shoot a 1 and bonus. Be big again if he can miss the first.
Oh, yeah. You can cut. Let's not speculate, too far to say you can cut the lead to 1 if they miss. Let's just see if they can miss first. Even if they hit both, you're still looking at a 6-point lead.
2 shots. Very capable 2 shots for this Connersville team. The first attempt. Off the mark, pick for Connersville. They looked it. Connersville fans are on their feet. This is a great sight to see in the Spartan Bowl. Chris Bloom comes back left side. He'll try his hand it along too. No good. He'll get the rebound. He gets it to BJ Day. Chris Bloom thinks about a 3. Andy Lake's inside. Great move. It won't fall. It's going to be a foul on Newcastle. They're going to shoot 2.
Andy Lakes. It's Lakes, right?
Lakes, plural.
We talked about Chris Bloom needing to put the team on his back. Andy Lakes has come off the bench and set the tempo for the Spartans, and that's what we needed in the first half. That's what we talked about. Somebody had to step up, and Andy Lakes is doing that.
Ben, we don't do this, but we're going to do it tonight. The Channel 3 player of the game,
Andy Lakes.
Andy Lakes. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, a first in Channel 3 coverage.
Win or lose here for the Spartans tonight, Andy Lakes has shown what he's made of. Shown what he's made of.
This crowd's into it. I just can't get over it. It's been a few years since we've seen crowds of this magnitude, this spirited. The second shot is off the mark. Newcastle will get the ball. That's big for Newcastle. Gonna have to foul. 40 seconds left to play. Finally a foul. BJ Day will track down number 22, Luke Bennett. He'll step to the line. Shipped. Still a 1 and bonus. Coach Klein telling Andy Lakes, just calm down. It's okay.
You know what, Dane? Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. Who would have thought? And it's all on tape.
It's all on tape.
It's all on tape.
Well, I think it's safe to say fans will not go home disappointed here tonight.
The first shot. Oh, he finally gets it to fall. Back to a 5-point advantage for Newcastle. The second one is big. This will take it to a 6-point advantage. That's 2 big 3-pointers Connersville would need to tie this game at least. Second one is good. 39 seconds left to play. Ball inbound to Chris Bloom. He's on the left side. We don't need to rush any shots here. Jamie Taylor draws baseline. Tied up. It's going to be a foul on Newcastle, I believe.
That'll be on Connersville.
And it is on Connersville, excuse me. 30 seconds, 28 to be exact, left to play, 6-point advantage. And now, number 40, Ryan Freeberg, starting senior forward, will step to the line to shoot 2 shots. First is off the mark, big for Connersville. That keeps it a two-possession game, if you will.
You know, we've talked about a lot of times how intimidating it can be to come into Spartan Bowl. You have to remember, Newcastle doesn't go anywhere that's bigger than their home court, so this is nothing new here for these Trojans.
His second one finally drops. That's a big free throw for Newcastle. Connersville needs to put some points on the board quickly. Jamie Taylor drives baseline, kicks it back out. Chris Bloom. And Connersville is going to be called for a moving screen. Or, excuse me, that's out of bounds. That's Newcastle's basketball. 22 seconds left to play.
We need a big stop here right now.
Turnover by Newcastle if we can get one.
You know, they were giving them up in the first half. We couldn't do anything with them. Now they're being stingy with the basketball.
15 seconds left to play. Matt Howard is going to get the foul on number 3, Zach Hahn. Not the man you want at the line. That's Matt's 4th foul.
54, Matt Howard is scored.
The Newcastle student section cheering "This is our house," but they need to realize their team blew a 27-point lead. So you can't take much of a moral victory from here tonight.
You can't, and don't think that this Trojan coaching staff is going to give the Trojans a break after this game, after blowing that kind of lead.
And let's think of something else. So say Newcastle and Connersville meet at regional time, Connersville will be ready.
Tackling fuel, way off the mark.
And that's going to probably do it for Connersville. It's a 9-point lead. Newcastle student section. Now they're showing some sound of the, showing the voice. Now that this game is in hand, but for a while there, and we were all kind of wondering how this was going to turn out. As we said, a 27-point advantage. It was cut down to 4. Win or lose, Connersville, you need to show some support to your Spartan boys. They played a heck of a game tonight, and we're going to take a break here at the Spartan Bowl. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more of Channel 3's coverage of tonight's game. Back at the Spartan Bowl as it gets set to wrap up tonight's game. Connersville falls for the first time this season, 62-53 to the visiting Newcastle Trojans, the second-ranked Newcastle Trojans. Let's go over some stats real fast before we talk about the game. Leading the way for Connersville, Chris Bloom, 13 points, 11 of those in the second half. Big shots, really got Connersville back in this game. We've got 2 guys with 11. That's Matt Howard and B.J. Day. B.J. also with 1 rebound. Matt Howard with 9 rebounds and 2 blocks to go along with his 11-point effort. Andy Lakes, we'll talk about him in a second. 12 points and 4 rebounds. Mike Lake and Chris Malone and Jamie Taylor with 2 apiece. And Ryan Henderson adding 1 rebound. Kind of an off night for Ryan Henderson. He fouled out late in that 4th quarter. Never quite found his shot tonight. So let's just go with the first thing on my mind. Andy Lakes, we talked about it. 2 turnovers. Coach Klein gave him the gate quickly. Chris Malone came in. And not really till the second half. He just, Channel 3's, player of the game. 12 big points. And really, at one point, Connersville was down by, I think it was 27. Didn't even have, what they averaged for a quarter. They had it roughly the halftime. And, they got this lead down to 4 at one point in time. Just a phenomenal game. And if you could take away one thing from this game for Connersville, it's the fact that they didn't, roll over and just quit. They came back and they played spirited basketball.
Yeah, and I think in a loss, you always have to look for the positive.
Right.
9-point victory. You'd like to say that didn't reflect what the game really looked like, but it did.
Right.
The first half, Connersville came out flat. They scored 14 points in 16 minutes, which is obviously half of what you would expect.
Well off their average.
If they could have come out just a little bit stronger, if they could have taken advantage of 5 Newcastle turnovers in the first quarter, we'd be talking about a Spartan victory here tonight. But I think you see good, like you said, good things from the Spartans. They didn't roll over and die. They put the lead down to 4. And as bad as you hate to see a loss, you have to remember they were supposed to lose this game.
Right. They for the first time this season, they were, not to say outmanned, but they were outranked. Connersville had not played a ranked team so far this year, and Newcastle, got the better of them tonight. And let's not take anything away from Newcastle. They played a heck of a game. Chase, Steigl, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name, and Zach Hahn absolutely played brilliant for Newcastle tonight. Did an excellent job of cutting to the basket, penetrating in the shots they just fell tonight. Just a bit too much to handle for Connersville. One thing for Connersville, you have to hope, regional time, if Connersville can make it through the section and we get to face the Trojans again, hopefully, the lead will come out, or the game will come out a different way.
Well, and here's an important thing of why it's so important that the game transpired as it did in the second half. Connersville proved that the Trojan team is beatable.
Right,
okay,
definitely.
62 points, that's only 2 points above what Connersville has allowed this year, their highest. Okay, so if the shots would have fallen in the first half,
we would be talking
it would be 73 to 62, because there were just so many opportunities that the Spartans had that just didn't fall. And I think that is what you take into regionals is
right.
This Trojan team is beatable. Save Chase Steigl and Zach Hahn, there wasn't much offensive output from this team. And Connersville really didn't have to do anything differently with them to hold them. I mean, they played their game, and I think that's the important thing, that the game that they always play is good enough to run with this number 2 ranked Trojan team.
Definitely. So, as we said, Connersville falls for the first time tonight, 62-53. Ben, why don't you tell us about the upcoming schedule for the Spartans?
Sure. For the Spartans, after dropping to 5-1, they'll travel to Winchester on December.
Which is, may I add, ranked 9th in Class 2A. So,
so another big test,
tough stretch for Connersville.
So they'll head there December 20th. The next game that we'll be airing, we're going to take the Christmas break off, no more home games until January 7th. We'll be here to start the second semester action with the Spartans as they face Greensburg here. Come out and support your Spartans. That's an 8 o'clock start. I'd love to see just as many people as we saw here tonight here for that game.
Definitely. So we're going to wrap it up. Last time, Connersville falls for the first time this season, 62-53. Thanks for watching, and that's all. For Ben Houston, I'm Dane Burchett. We'll see you next time.